Hey, what's up guys? So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Blackview DR750X Plus. This is a new dash cam from Blackview that replaces the DR750X. Now, down in the video description, I'm going to have purchase links to where you can pick up the DR750X Plus, and if you use those links, it's going to automatically save you 5% off the purchase of your dash cam. And in this video, we're going to be going over all the new improvements here with the DR750X Plus. Now, the biggest improvement really at the end of the day is going to be the new image sensor inside the Plus. This upgraded Sony Starvis sensor is going to give you things like improved dynamic range to do a better job of capturing details in the bright highlights, as well as in the dark shadows. And it's also going to do a little better job of capturing things like license plates at night, especially if maybe your bright headlights are shining on them. And then you're also going to see improved colors from the video, as well as a few small hardware improvements to the dash cam itself. The original DR750X was only released about 8 months ago, back in September of 2020, and so why is there a new model version of this already? Well, really at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that there's been a semiconductor shortage recently, and the way it's affected Blackview is they're unable to get some of the components that they need to continue making the DR750X, and so they've had to actually start swapping and replacing some of the components inside the dash cam. Legally, because of these component changes, they're actually required to call it something new altogether, hence the DR750X Plus. And they also figured, well, if we're coming out with a new dash cam, there's also this new sensor that's available. Very convenient. We can go ahead and pop in an upgraded sensor into the dash cam, and so the Plus now has some improvements above and beyond just kind of some little component changes. And then of course, because the 750X itself is no longer able to be produced, the 750X Plus is going to be fully replacing the 750X. Taking a closer look here at the DR750X Plus, there's a lot of things that are going to be the same as the original 750X. For example, you've got the same X series case design for the dash cam itself. The front camera is still going to record at 1080p and 60 FPS. The rear camera still records at 1080p and 30 FPS. It's got the same X series 3-wire ignition triggered parking cable, and that's also going to give you the built-in voltage monitoring capabilities built directly into the dash cam. You've got your CM100 LTE support that makes it really easy to get your dash cam connected to the cloud. And then finally, you've also got the same blend mount compatibility if you'd like to attach the dash cam under your rearview mirror instead of attaching it directly to the windshield. And then there's also going to be some things that are new here with the 750X Plus. Now, the biggest change is actually going to be the new sensor inside the dash cam. Now, the previous lineup of 750 series dash cams all use the Sony Starvis IMX291 image sensor. The new 750X Plus uses the IMX327, so it's a newer, better sensor, and it's used in both the front and the rear dash cam here in the 750X Plus. Now, as far as the benefits of this new image sensor, the biggest improvement that I'm seeing here is going to be the dynamic range. And dynamic range is just how good of a job the dash cam can record both the dark shadows as well as the bright highlights. And you'll see that here, for example, in this clip of driving through a parking garage, to where the 750X Plus is able to better record what's going on in the bright sunshine outside. You can see the person walking by outside, for example, plus you can also see detail in the shadows like the gray Honda Civic over on the right. So the newer dash cam has better dynamic range. It's going to be doing a better job of recording both in the highlights as well as in the shadows. Now, something I've noticed here with the 750X Plus is it seems to expose a little darker than previous Blackviews, but again, it still has better dynamic range overall. Now, when it comes to the rear camera, I find that the default settings here, again, are going to be darker still, but I really like the fact that with the 750X Plus, you can independently control the brightness for both the front and rear dash cams if you like. Now, in terms of colors, Blackview is saying the DR750X has more vivid colors, and I am able to notice that in my testing. It looks like basically the saturation has been turned up a little bit here with the 750X Plus, and so the colors do look better here with the new dash cam. In terms of detail and resolving capabilities, the 750X Plus, it's still a 1080p dash cam. And for that reason, the results are going to be comparable to what I see with maybe previous models of Blackviews. It's still able to record license plates if the vehicle is very close, for example, but then it's going to start to struggle if the vehicles are a little bit farther away, such as those vehicles just ahead of me up here in the parking lot. 4K dash cams, of course, are going to do a better job of actually capturing details a little bit farther away, but this is going to be a 1080p dash cam, so it's going to be best optimized to capture details that are closer up to the dash cam. Now moving on to nighttime footage next, this is something that these Sony Starvis sensors have traditionally always done a good job with, and it looks like this is the case here with the 750X Plus as well. Overall, it's going to do a good job of capturing what's going on around you. I find that with the 750X Plus's new sensor, you're going to be getting a little bit better clarity out of your dash cam footage, and again, you're going to be getting some better dynamic range. Now, Blackview, when they first announced this dash cam, they actually had a clip posted on their YouTube channel showing the 750X Plus doing a better job than the older 750X and actually capturing license plates when your bright headlights were shining on them. And that's a pretty good example of the benefits of the increased dynamic range. Now, in my testing, I found this isn't always the case. There's going to be some situations, of course, to where the license plates are still blown out. But then in other situations, you're going to be able to capture the details. Like, for example, you can see the shopping carts here with the 750X Plus. It does a better job of actually capturing the bright information when your headlights are shining on that. And so the new dash cam, it's not going to completely eliminate the issue, but it definitely does seem to be an improvement. Now that said, there is this weird issue that I'm seeing with the nighttime recording, and specifically it's kind of this sparkly looking video effect that you'll see in the dash cam footage. For example, you can see it here with the buildings over on the right side of the screen. I've noticed in testing this seems to happen if you have the enhanced night vision feature turned off. If you turn it on, that seems to go away. That's really strange. I actually talked to Black Box My Car about this because they recently posted their video review of the DR750X Plus. I'll link to their video down in the video description. And I noticed in their sample footage, they didn't seem to have the same issues. So I talked to them about this, and they were kind enough to actually send me some more sample footage from their DR750X Plus, and looking through it, I don't see the same issue going on in their copy of the dash cam. So I don't know if it's maybe something unique and specific to my review sample that I've been testing here, but it doesn't seem to affect all of the DR750X Pluses, but it's something that I've been experiencing nonetheless. Now, coming back to the enhanced night vision feature, that's a pretty cool feature to help the dash cam do a better job of seeing into the dark shadows without actually blowing your highlights. The main benefit of it is when you have it enabled, it's going to allow you to better see what's going on in the dark areas of the video footage. Now, something I've noticed when testing is if it's maybe really dark, like let's say you're parked and there's not a lot of street lights, yeah, with enhanced night vision turned on, you're going to better be able to see the dark areas. But I'm also noticing that for whatever reason, the video footage seems to get quite a bit softer when I have that feature enabled. And so I'm seeing some quirks here with this dash cam, especially at night. I don't know if it's something with respect to this new image sensor. Maybe Blackview needs to do a little bit more tweaking here. I'm sure they will. I've already reported this information and sent sample footage over to Blackview, and we've been talking. I don't know if it's something maybe specific to my particular dash cam, because I know some other people are seeing different things. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but just kind of reporting it nonetheless. And I'm sure if it's an issue with Blackview dash cams overall, it's something that they're going to continue tweaking and refining if it's something specific to maybe this new image sensor. Speaking of which, there's also a bug I came across that should be fixed in an upcoming update. What I found is sometimes when you're driving and then you finish driving and you park, the dash cam will switch into parking mode, but then the next time you get back in your car and start driving again, the rear dash cam will be almost completely blacked out. It's not totally black. You can still see some bright point sources of light like people's headlights or maybe the reflections of the sun off different windshields and whatnot. But either way, you're not going to be able to record out the rear properly. This doesn't seem to happen every time. It only seems to happen sometimes. Plus, next time you power cycle the dash cam, like you turn your car off and back on, then the dash cam will work properly again. But either way, this is a known issue now, and Blackview says that they're going to be addressing this in a future update. And so it looks like there's still some refinement that needs to be done on the firmware side. But overall, I think this new image sensor and kind of the DR750X Plus in general, I think it's a nice update here for the DR750X. This new image sensor, as I mentioned before, it's used in both the front and the rear dash cam if you opt for the 2-channel version. Besides the new image sensor, there's a couple other changes to the dash cam as well. For example, if you take a look here at the side of the dash cam where you plug everything in, you'll notice one of the ports is where you actually plug in the rear dash cam. And what's interesting is this port is available now even if you get the single channel dash cam that only records up front. This is nice so that if you ever want to later pick up the rear dash cam and add it on at another time, you now have that option. That wasn't available with the previous single channel versions of Blackview's dash cams. Now that said, if you're upgrading from a previous generation of Blackview 2-channel dash cams, you're not going to be able to reuse your old rear camera with the new DR750X. So in this case, you can't purchase just a single channel version and plug in your old rear camera. And the reason that's the case is the DR750X, because it uses the new image sensor, it needs a new rear dash cam as well. So if you're upgrading from a previous 2-channel one, in this case, you're still going to need to get a 2-channel version as well and upgrade both the front and the rear dash cams. But I'll talk more about upgrading from previous Blackview dash cams here in just a second. The last change with the DR750X Plus is a change to the high heat cutoff threshold. If it's really hot, it's really hot in the car here. You can see me starting to sweat. The previous DR750X had a high temperature cutoff of 85 degrees Celsius. The new DR750X Plus has been dropped from 85 degrees to just 80 degrees. Now, there weren't any issues reported with the DR750X. Like, I know it was released, and then in Australia, people have been using it there in the summertime, and there haven't been any issues reported, at least as far as I'm aware of, down in Australia. But just for the sake of safety, BlackView is actually dropping the high temperature cutoff from 85 degrees down to 80 degrees with the new DR750X Plus. Now, coming back to the upgrade process, if you're wanting to upgrade from a previous generation BlackView dashcam, let's go ahead and talk about that. Now, BlackView has a whole page dedicated to this that goes over things in more detail, and I'll link to that down in the video description as well. And here, let's go ahead and just quickly run through some of the highlights. So first off, as far as the front camera dashcam mount, if you have another BlackView dashcam, you're going to be able to just pop out your old dashcam and pop in the new one in its place, with the exception of the DR750 LTE, which is a bigger dashcam. The DR750X Plus can pop into the same mount as your previous BlackView dashcams. Additionally, the coax cable that connects the front and rear dashcams, that cable can be reused as well, so you don't have to run a new front to rear dashcam cable. And then if you're also running the BlackView circular polarizer for a previous 750 series dashcam, that can also be reused here for the 750X Plus. Now, as far as things that are different, obviously the front and the rear dash cams themselves are going to be different because of the fact that you have a new image sensor. And so, yeah, you're going to want to upgrade both the front and the rear dash cams. The power cable for the 750X is also going to be different than most other BlackViews. It's the X series power cable, the 3-wire ignition triggered parking mode cable. Most other BlackView dash cams had a 2-wire cable. The new one has a 3-wire power cable, and because of that, the old power cable is not actually compatible with the new dash cam. So you are going to have to upgrade your power cable as well if you have one of the older BlackView dash cams. And then finally, the rear dash cam. I've noticed the dash cam itself is slightly smaller in circumference. So if you try popping it into the mount from the older dash cam, it's going to be a little bit loose and spin a little bit in the mount. And so if you want to upgrade the rear dash cam, I would also recommend swapping out the rear dash cam mounts. Now, what about future models of BlackView dash cams? I'm sure this new sensor is eventually going to start making its way into other BlackView dash cams as well. It would make sense, but BlackView right now doesn't really want to talk too much about future models of dash cams, which is totally understandable. Now, I know a lot of people have asked about, well, what about a DR900X Plus? I'm curious about that as well. And again, BlackView isn't really saying anything, so I'm just going to give you my own thoughts and speculations on that subject. So I guess two things. Number one, the new components that they've had to put into the DR750X, I don't know if it's the same components that they used in the DR900X. If that's the case, then sure, they would have to switch out the same components for the DR900X, and so we would then have a DR900X Plus. But what about a new image sensor? BlackView was the first company to come out with the proper 4K dash cam, and since then there's been newer dash cams that have been using newer image sensors that have better video quality and better detail. I know the VFO A129 Pro, for example, that dash cam uses the newer Sony Starvis IMX317, and it's got better video quality, better detail, and better low light sensitivity. And I would honestly love to see BlackView come out with the DR900X Plus that has a new image sensor, a lot like the competition has now, that just boosts overall image quality. Now, will they actually do it? I have no idea. I hope so, of course. That's long been one of my biggest complaints with BlackViews is the image quality, and I really hope that they improve the sensor and come out with the DR900X Plus. But I have no idea if they actually are, if it's in the works, or anything like that. But coming back here finally to the DR750X Plus again, it's now available for purchase online. The front-only version of the dashcam, the single-channel version, retails for $259. The 2-channel version that records both front and rear retails for $369. And again, you'll find links to both of them down in the video description, and if you use those links, it's going to automatically save you 5% off the purchase of your DR750X Plus. Now here at launch, they've got the single-channel and 2-channel version. 2-channel again records both front and rear. They're also eventually going to be coming out with the IR version of the dashcam that has an interior-facing dashcam with infrared LEDs, which is really nice for recording inside the cabin, useful for Uber and Lyft drivers, for example. And they're also going to be releasing a version with the waterproof exterior truck version of the dashcam. That's going to be in the pipeline as well. But again, here at launch, it's just the standard front-only version, as well as the 2-channel one that records front and rear. And other than that, yeah, that's just a quick summary of my overall take as far as the changes and improvements here with the new DR750X Plus. New image sensor is the main change, plus a few small hardware things. And overall, I think with the new image sensor, it's a nice improvement to the DR750X lineup. It may need a little bit of tweaking here. I'm not still sure yet. Maybe, again, some of the issues I've been seeing are just my specific dash cam. I'm not totally sure, but either way, I think the new image sensor is a welcome upgrade for the DR750X dash cam. So awesome. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys are all doing well. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video.